this is the type of agent you want by your side. I've seen it many times. I talk to the client and I'm like, look, the truth is, if you price it correctly from the beginning, you should have no issues with this. I'll give you an example. And then at the end of the day, you end up getting under contract over here. Now your agent is telling you, my guy, we have a contract, like you need to accept or it's gonna hurt your days on market and they're not going to want to wait. And now they put pressure on you, you accept it. The 2026 housing market is not forgiving. Yes, buyers are back, inventory is rising, and for those sellers who are emotionally attached to the price that they are trying to list for, they are going to get left behind. And in this video, we're going to get into it. The market has shifted. What the data is actually telling us is that the national inventory and buyer demand are both climbing in 2026. This is consistent with historical year-over-year trends and signals a busy selling season ahead. The opportunity is real, but so is a competition. And this is how you want to track your local market. Don't rely on national headlines. Use a tool like Redfin Data Center to monitor inventory levels and buyer demand specifically to your metro area. This is so important because a lot of people don't actually have an agent that is guiding them through where exactly their value is coming from. I've had clients that have reached out to me and said, Alexa, this agent told me that I could sell it for this much and this is what I want. And then when I ask them, well, why didn't you go with that agent? They're like, well, because they didn't really have the expertise or, they really didn't have a marketing plan together. So when I sit down with them or we have a Zoom call, it's my job to tell you the facts. And I know that as reps, as builder, and I know that as realtors, we get a bad rep, right? There is that one agent or many agents that ruin it for the agents that are actually ethical, that are actually looking to take care of you. And I know for a lot of you guys that are watching, you don't think that way, but a lot of you do think that way because maybe you're like me and you've been taken advantage by a realtor back before I was licensed. But this is what I want you to understand. If you have an agent that actually knows their stuff and that genuinely wants to earn your business, but also isn't afraid to tell you the facts, this is the type of agent you want by your side. I've seen it many times. I talk to the client and I'm like, look, that agent was trying to buy the listing from you. They're trying to tell you what you want to hear. They're trying to tell you exactly that, yes, we could sell it for this much, when in reality, we should price it for this much. And at the end of the day, what ends up happening is that you sign a contract with them and within, a month of not getting any showings, 2 months of not getting any showings, now they're going back and telling you, hey, well, maybe we should do a price reduction. The truth is, if you price it correctly from the beginning, you should have no issues with this. I'll give you an example. I had a client that essentially, thankfully, we were able to already close the deal and we got the escrow finalized and everything ended up working out. But there's a few things that happened in this transaction and I'll give you that example compared to the other example that are just going to blow your mind. First example, I had already talked to the client and I really like these clients, okay? So let's make that very clear. I told them, hey, I recommend we price it for this much, okay? It was like at the middle of the market. And long story short, the client wanted to go about $80,000 above what I recommended we listed it for. Yes, it was in a great area. Yes, it was a historic house. Yes, there was a bunch of things that obviously added value. But the truth is that the market is always what determines where we can price a house for. I can do all the marketing in the world, but at the end of the day, if the price is above what other houses in the area are selling for, or what other houses have in terms of the updates and upgrades inside of the home, it doesn't matter how much marketing I do, people are just going to see right through it. So to make the long story short, we go back and forth, we decide on a price, and after months of having showings, because I was spending a lot of money on marketing, I was making sure that I was doing, first of all, we staged it, we made sure that we did our professional photography, we made sure that we ran some ads to it, we made sure that we made a professional video for it, like we did everything that we really like to put money for to ensure that we get our clients the best result. But the feedback we kept getting was the same. The house is a little outdated for some of the things that our clients are looking for. Another house down the street has a few more updates and X, Y, and Z, right? Now, after months of having it on the market, after we were able to finally get to the point where, okay, Alexa, let's go ahead and do the price reduction. This is my bottom line. We get it off. Within literally a few days, we end up getting an offer. And this is why it's important to price it right from the beginning. And I know some of you are going to roll your eyes and you're going to say, Alexa, you just want me to leave money on the table. Look, I'm an investor. I sell and buy houses. I totally get where you're coming from. I also want to get you the most for your money. I want to get the most for my money. But at the end of the day, the market doesn't lie. And if I show you 10 examples, and from those 10 examples, let's say 5 of those houses are completely remodeled and have all the bells and whistles, and the other 5 are, you know, maybe it needs some updates, you're going to go for the house that already has the bells and whistles. Unless you're somebody that wants to do some rehab to it, chances are you're going to go for something that is turnkey. This is why on the second example I'm going to share with you, my client, which also found me on YouTube, Danny, shout out to you. He trusted me from the very beginning. He's always trusted me since the moment that I helped him buy his house to the moment where he decided to sell the house. And to make the long story short, I told him from the beginning, these are some of the things that we should do because it does need a little bit of TLC. Let's take care of those things and let's price it at this much. He listened to everything, and within 8 days of being on the market, we went under contract. This is the beauty of having somebody that knows the market and is not afraid to tell you where you should be paying attention to. I have another client right now that they understand the market, and what they're doing is actually they're being patient and they're like, look, I'm going to wait until around May to July to list the house because I want the PCS influx that is going to happen. We're in a little military city over here in El Paso. So a lot of people are constantly relocating in and out of El Paso. And around May to September is a lot of the relocating that starts happening. Why is this important? Because maybe you can actually keep that in mind so that you can go ahead and list it at a time that is also beneficial for you. Now, am I sitting here and telling you that that guarantees that you're going to sell it around that time? No, because I just showed you that before that time frame happened, we literally got it under contract before the influx of military clients that are coming into El Paso. But it is important to list it right from the beginning. And if you just have an agent that is honest with you upfront, it is going to save you a lot of time, a lot of headaches, and a lot of money. Here's the other thing that you want to be very mindful of. If your house has some updating that you know it could really benefit from, and you want to make sure that it competes with the houses that are down the street, I highly recommend you take care of those things. Now, do you need to do it? No. Is it going to help you? Yes. And I've seen it time and time again where some clients just simply painting it and making it look more new, fresh paint, you know, removing some of those bath rugs that some people don't like to look at, removing some of the stuff that you love. Trust me, I love things. I like collecting mugs. I love my mugs. But I know that a certain type of buyer that comes in through the property and sees a house, they're going to feel overwhelmed if they see a ton of stuff, especially if you have all of these things all over your walls. Unfortunately, they just can't picture themselves there. And buying a house for a lot of people, it's a logical investment, but for most of us, it's an emotional one. When it's an actual house that we're going to live in, we're like, how do I feel in this house? How do I envision myself in this house? How can I X, Y, and Z? And if you can ensure that you take care of this very important step, I promise you it's also going to play a huge factor on your return, so that at the end of the day, you have less days on market and more opportunity of really getting the price that you want for your house. Now, a couple of other things that I really want you to be mindful of if you're looking to sell your house is to be very honest. I am telling you, when you don't disclose certain things that come back on the clue report, which is typically where we see if you have ever filed any type of insurance claim on your home, this could actually kill the deal. And I am telling you from experience, it is better for you to just be honest up front and let them know, hey, we had this damage at one point, but we took care of it. There's been no issues after that and we've been perfectly fine, versus them finding out right before they get to closing and then now they're like, no, I don't want the house. And now the deal just blew up in your face. Another very important thing to consider is the days on market. The more days on market that your house house continues to accumulate, the more of a stigma that starts to fester of the buyer, okay, in the buyer's mind, and they think, there's something wrong with that house. Even though your house might be perfect, even though your house is literally not having any issues, but because you priced it really high and the market is determining that we should be over here, when the buyers see that that house is still there, they start to question if that house is really worth it. I'll give you another example. I'm recently selling one of my properties, and in my neighborhood, there is a house that is completely overpriced. Like, I am talking about like over $60,000 overpriced. And for that square footage, for that particular floor plan, for the upgrades that it has, it's just not worth it. When in reality, if we now look at the other options in the market, this is really where you're going to see that that house is going to continue to stay, and it's happened because it already happened with another one. And it gets to the point where the sellers get discouraged, and then they end up telling their agent, I'm just gonna take it off the market, I'm gonna wait, I'm not gonna accept anything less than this, and then they basically let the deal fall apart, which a lot of agents don't explain this properly to their clients. And I'm gonna be the one to tell you, whether you work with us or not, that when you fire one agent and you hire a new agent and you think that your days on market is just going to reset, that's not true. So if you are working with another agent and you're really unrealistic with your price, and then you decide to work with another team, what's going to happen is that MLS, which is the system that we use to track all of the sales and all of the listings on the market, what happens is that they actually add all of the cumulative days. So now, instead of it being one day on the market, it's actually going to show overall this house has been on the market before it was newly listed for, in this case, 100 days, 180 days, whatever the situation is. And a lot of people don't know this, and I am telling you, it is hurting you so much, because you might think, oh, I just got a new agent, everything is going to be fine. It shows as if it's a new listing. That's not true. And it really does end up looking bad. And for me, I believe that if you're going to work with somebody, work with them because you know up front that they're being honest with you and they're telling you how the market looks like. I had a listing appointment recently. We still haven't gone live. They want to wait it out as well. But overall, they understood where I was coming from, and I showed them, like, look, I can list your house for upwards of 400,000, but it's going to do you a disservice. Versus if I list it right in this little pocket, which was 390, this is going to bring you more buyers because we're listing it competitively based on what's available in the area. And I promise you, we might end up actually getting multiple offers, which I just know the area really well. So I know that's going to happen. Right now, we're actually looking for a house that they actually like before listing, because they don't want to sell unless they actually find like the new dream home. And honestly, strategies are different. So if you have an agent that you're working with, maybe they're going to tell you, no, list the house now, and then we find the house. Honestly, that's not always the case, because if you're looking for something very specific and your agent is telling you, don't worry, we'll find it. Let's just say we get a contract on your house, and then now you still haven't found the new house that you really want because it's a very particular type of house. If it's just a regular new home, or there's a bunch of options for that specific area, then of course list it now, because the sooner you get a contract, the better it's going to be for you. But in this case, let's say you're looking for something very specific for a certain price point, and then at the end of the day, you end up getting under contract over here. Now your agent is telling you, my guy, we have a contract, like you need to accept, or it's gonna hurt your days on market, and they're not going to want to wait. And now they put pressure on you, you accepted, and now you haven't found a house, so you end up just settling for something. That's not the way to go about it. This is why working with the right team is so important. And I've said this before, but if you are looking to either relocate into El Paso, or you're looking to overall just see what options you have out here, send us a message. Go ahead and actually click on the link for the Zoom call. This actually notifies me. We get a ton of messages, and honestly, I don't want to miss yours. So make sure that you book it through there, or you can directly send us a message on Instagram. I am always on my Instagram because I get the notification right away. So go ahead and send us a message there so we can schedule a call. But at the end of the day, when we sit down and actually talk about it virtually, it really comes down to what is your game plan? because there's so many options to go about it. And if we figure out what's the best game plan for you, then we can really put something together that is going to benefit you versus just pushing you towards something that isn't going to work. And the last thing I really want to emphasize on is that regardless of who you decide to work with, always make sure that you ask them questions that actually tell you whether they are going to properly market your property. There are so many, it really does, it tickles me. I went to a Tony Robbins event recently, and he says that we need to change our vocabulary so that we don't make our whole physiology get upset over something. So instead of saying it pisses me off, I'm gonna say it tickles me. It really tickles me when agents get hired by a seller. You're paying them money, obviously, to sell your house. And I've seen this on like $1 million houses, okay? The agent goes out and takes a picture of the house with their phone. And I'm like, you're paying this person how much? Like, even if that person accepted a discounted rate, like, I don't care. I am not going to put my branding, my reputation, and just go out there with my iPhone or my Android and take a picture that's like crooked. And you're just like, what in the world? And it happens so much. It happens so much. And I am honestly like, part of me is like, oh my gosh, does this person just not know what marketing is? Is this person really like, maybe they're related and he told her that, you know, we were going to just take pictures with our phone. But even if you're related to me and you told me I'm gonna sell your property and you're gonna take pictures with your phone because you wanna save $1,000 on taking the pictures because you want more money to go to your bank account, I would just say, you know what, no, I'll list with somebody else because it's gonna come out of your proceeds. It's going to come out of your overall investment. And one of the biggest disservices that you can do is hire a cheap agent. Like, there's a lot of agents out there that I'm telling you, they're quick to negotiate their commission. They're quick to negotiate and get a better, you know, overall price on what they're offering. But the reason they're quick on that is because they know that they're not really bringing value to the table. If you're so quick to negotiate your commission off of a conversation that we're having, that tells me that when somebody calls you, and I've had agents like this where I'm representing the buyer and I call the agent and I'm like, hey, my client is interested in making an offer. I just want to see, you know, where your sellers are at. They will literally throw all of the information and be like, yeah, they're really pressed to sell. Girl, send me an offer. Like, I'll make it happen. Don't worry about it. I'm just like, thank you. You're giving me all the tools I need to protect my buyer. So make sure that you're cautious of that because some agents are like that and they will throw you under the bus to get a commission check. And number two, some of them just don't have the money to invest in their marketing because they get a commission check and they spent all their money and they don't manage it properly and they're struggling and this is just what it is. And now you end up getting the short end of that because they're not going to pay for professional photography. They're not going to pay for any of the marketing, any of the ads, any of the funnels that need to be created to really drive traffic to it. Nothing. So make sure you're hiring somebody that actually knows what they are doing. With that, before you go live on the market, make sure that you're taking care of all the minor little things that you can do around the house. Make sure that you're pricing your house correctly. Make sure that you are upfront so that you don't have any surprises at the end of the day. And make sure you're hiring the right agent because the right agent will take care of all of these for you, give you some guidance on top of that. And if you are in the market, like I said, send us a message. I'd love the opportunity to work with you. And even if you're not buying in El Paso, I have agents throughout the United States. So whether it's in Washington, California, New York, send us a message. I'd love to connect you with somebody that is actually going to take care of you and really look out for you and your family's best interest. With that, thank you for watching and I will see you guys on the next one.